All right, thanks for tuning in on Wednesday's contribution stream. I'm going to be working on phpstan-drupal again. Took last week off because I needed a break after spending 2 weeks straight chasing some random bugs. But I'm back today. I want to try to work on some feature dev, but actually I am going to tackle two other open PRs pretty quick. My goal today is to get to working on a drush command that can help generate configuration. And the idea is that this would help automate all of your entity mappings. So by default, the extension has all these core entity mappings, and we'd be able to let you override this by generating it for your specific site, which would then allow also saying these are the modules that are installed and a lot of other cool features. But I do want to try to debug this issue where the resolve type is coming back as like aggregator feed, like the first one when it shouldn't be, and the tests are passing. I'm also tempted to merge this pull request after I make my changes because we just need more test cases. But this fixes, what is this? The deprecation, detect missing explicit entity access checks. So I'm gonna dive into that first. Let's go here to this pull request. I'm gonna go ahead and mark it ready for review. Probably breaking their wishes to merge this, but it's a pretty big change that's happening for Drupal 10. And I think we need to have our tools start reporting this sooner than later. So let's go ahead and 378. Hello, how early are you? Like, it just kicked off. Just went live, or rather just turned it from the starting screen to actually being here starting. All right, so let's see. Open. And try this out from the GitHub interface inside, what do you call this, PHP Storm? Check out. That's what I'm looking for. New branch name? No, I don't want to do new branch name. Oh, yes, I guess. Check out the branch. I don't know much PHP, but what can I ask what Drupal is? So Drupal is a content management system built on PHP. Well, this is the dashboard. If I can get to the home page. So Drupal, it keeps forwarding me to the dashboard. Drupal's an open source content management system. If you know the word WordPress, and WordPress is built on PHP, it's another content management system, but Drupal has more, I want to say, extensibility. Like WordPress does one thing great, and that's you write a blog post, you create a page, you're done. It has plugins to add like data modeling, like advanced custom fields. But Drupal kind of is like built with that out of the box and is more of a, I would say, framework, or like we say, digital experience platform, DXP. So Drupal could compete with Adobe Experience Manager, like in the public realm. So it's this weird blend between content management system and content management framework. So it's got developer friendly parts and just end user friendly parts. And what I work on with this stream is phpstan-drupal, which adds static analysis to the PHP code that's used by Drupal developers. So that way they can write better code, because PHP is a scripting language. It's not compiled. Now, mind you, Python's a scripting language too, because it doesn't compile into code. It builds on top of C. All right, so I'm going to check out this branch quick, because doing it in the UI didn't seem to... Oh, it did. It did check out. All right. Mind. I had some feedback I wanted to make. We have this, and the class name is entity query execute does not have access check. I just want to use the verbs with or without. So let's go ahead and refactor, rename. Sure, let's see what that got us. Oh, that did not rename nearly as much as I thought it would. Hold on. Entity access query does not have Shift Command FX. Does not is replaced with without. Hold on, why is this? Does not have. This is not replacing count type. It's not instance of, does not have. Are these the same words? No. What is the difference here? Entity query execute does not have access check type. That's right. There's access check type and count type. Does not is without. Does not have. We changed to without. Out. I did a typo here. That's probably I confused my own self. Okay, so that's fixed. That was in source type, entity query. And we'll change this to without as well. So it does not have. We'll change to without. And we've refactored that. This is one breakage that could happen. And I wanted to rename this to entity query not has access, but entity query access, because this handles the return type extension. This handles the return type for the access check method. Has access is just what it's doing. So I want to fix that. And we've got some tests in here. I just want to rerun them before I push this and merge it, because at the end of this, I plan on tagging a release. Rules, entity query has access rule test. For the entity query has access rule, don't need that. For that, we can trim this up to be node. Type, missing explicit entity access check for here. Tip looks good. And the test is here. Let's play it. It's not what I wanted to click on. And there's this weird bug I can never figure out with PHP unit caching, so I gotta just rerun it a second time. All right, that passed. Let's look at these fixtures. Has access, does not have access. Let's do another test. We're gonna do bar, and we'll do Drupal entity get query node. Thanks for the explanation. Yeah, no problem. Not entity query. Let's run this bar. Run this again. We should get some failures. Oh, seriously, why is it crashing again? All right. Line 21 has the same error, so I added it that way. So 21. 21. We run it. Now I want to prove that we have a failure, possibly. So let's rename this Baz. We'll say query equals. And let's see. Node. I gotta look up something real quick. CVCRM entity, because entity types can actually define different entity query backends, and I need to see what's going to load first. Continue. That's 7.2. So I worked on this module to provide an integration with Drupal's entity system to read from CiviCRM's databases or its models. But I need to figure out real quick CiviCRM entity. Where does it define the query? This is all on the .module file. I realized, oh, that should use a deriver instead of this approach. Didn't even think about that. So I need to type build handlers schema handler. Let's do entity query. Where's the query? Views query alter. That's not what I would expect. How does this work? I don't remember. I wrote the code and I don't even know. So query CiviCRM SQL storage schema. No. Did that there. Build. Hook entity type build. I just got to figure out where I use this class. Class provider, component, CiviCRM entity, label, entity keys, blah, blah, blah. Base table, handlers, entity storage, entity access, storage schema. Is it in the storage? Config factory, entity field manager, init table layout, do delete, do save. Ah, there it is. Get query service name. That ties it into the service there. Okay. And let's do, that was called get query service name. Perfect. Which loads from here. And if we go into core.services.yaml, we can I didn't even explain why I'm doing this, but I will. So query factory, entity query.sql. Oh, we do have one for Postgres. Query factory, entity query SQL. What is this going to return? It's going to return an instance of get query base class. Query. All right. So where there's a point to this, in here, we have this fun breakage with phpdoc, where if you do a phpdoc of the type, we kind of forget something that's happening. And in this case, it does not have access rule. When I say forget what's happening, we're having an issue where it overrides the internal types that we're trying to build. So that was okay. Let's do. What happens if I were to do this here? Maybe it will be okay. Oh, sweet. That works for me. There's an advanced case I can think of, but I'm not going to dive into it yet because we'll deal with it if it comes up. We don't need that. We don't need that. So let's go ahead, get status, get diff. Let's do let's use phpstan for this. Be a lot faster. So this is just fixing the usages. entity query, renamed, the extension type, handling the renames. That's not being used. Entity query does not have access, just showing the shortcut access for an entity query. And then the rules test and registering the return type extension. Oh, wait a second. There's a return type extension, but we don't have the rule registered yet. Oh, wait. Yeah, we do. Okay, it is there. Oh, actually, let's go jump to this source. So final class has do entity has access. Oh yeah, I was using the verbs with and without. Works. Reword from has to with. Add check. Add test with the query static method. It's good enough for me. Let's push it. Although, actually, yeah, okay, it is going to push correctly. Awesome. So if I go, this refreshes. Should have everything here. And once this comes back green, I will merge this and we'll get it ready to be part of our tagged release. Now I'm going to try to solve this bug. So they have code that's doing instance entity storage. Oh, because we don't know the entity storage type here anymore, possibly. Entity storage, and it's returning like a random entity type. I think I know why, and we have no test coverage. The entity storage is being set as a property with its own type hint and not fetched in a ladder method. None of our tests follow this, which is a common pattern. So I don't do this because I like my constructors to be lightweight. But in this case, they're taking the entity storage from the entity type manager and making it a property instead of fetching it from the entity type manager at runtime. So it's part of the properties, which means it's being type hinted, as we can see here. So we have a test case that we can reproduce. That I was not able to figure out before. Wait. Get status. Why didn't this? What? Oh. Wait, what? Add tests. No, shoot. Get reset. Shoot. Get checkout issue 315. Get add tests. Get status. Get amend. Oh, get push F. I don't know what happened. That didn't get added correctly. All right. So we'll rerun that with a force push. And hopefully that fixes the failures because that file was missing. Nope, that's not even all of it. Get checkout. No, get checkout. 315. I screwed it up even more because test rules. Entity has access check rule. These don't exist because I renamed them. Out. Really should run PHP unit on pre-commit, but I do not. So the linting, and then the test will start failing. Oh yeah, 11 and 19. So I removed the use statement that wasn't needed anymore. All right, now we're good. So let's do another get status. What is it? Get add tests. Get amend. Right, quick. Right, quit. So just so that anybody may know, my get amend is a shortcut for get commit amend. I do that a lot to rewrite my commits when I have like little fixes and I want to try to keep it squashed. I don't want to have like 5 commits in a row that say, oops, I screwed up. All right. So this 377. Yeah, get maintenance. What? Hold on. What does this command do? Runs tasks to optimize Git repository data. I'm guessing that's probably something done when you are like a source. Git checkout main. So let's do get new branch 317, 377. And the first step is let's tackle this with a test-driven development approach. So we already have, let's go. I need to reset myself a little bit. Type. This is the entity storage. So we have the entity type managed git storage test here. All right, so we have this test source. So let's create a new, we have data, but we're going to do new file bug 377.php. And we're going to include this bug 377.php. So let's namespace bug 377. So we're going to create a class foo bar, class foo, with a this, we'll say implements container injection interface from Drupal core. Let's add the method stub for create, and we'll just say, what is it? There, in this case, they have a plugin, but it's going to be the same difference. Say new self. Instance, I'm going to say instance equals container get entity. Storage, and then we'll do public function, do some data. We don't even need to go that far. Let's just do entity equals this entity storage load 1 2 3 4. Now let's do, we can do a few things here actually. Let's do Entity type manager, entity storage. Yeah, here we go, storage. We want to copy this line here. So one, we're asserting that entity, it should actually be the generic Drupal entity. I actually don't know the root interface. Drupal core entity, here we do. Expression results not used anywhere. That's fine. Why is it not warning about that here? Is this not executed? Because it's not. So we do, because it needs to be, yeah. So foo equals new foo. Or shoot. Can this be? I might have to look at phpstan for how it does some of this. Let's just do this. We'll do foo create. Shoot. I don't know how to easily mock this. No, let's do it this way. Let's do it a different way. Hold on. Entity type manager interface. We can do it this way, and we can make, okay, let's stop doing it this way. Let's just do, because this is the same difference where we say this should be this is what how a lot of people have it set up. So this, just to create, was overthinking it, new foo, and we can do Drupal any type manager, because it's just going to scan the code. It's not going to execute it, so we're not going to have any errors, I hope. So we can do foo, and that means we can do the entity storage. Let's copy this back. Foo bar. Let's do return. We'll test that as well, and then we did its entity interface. So since it's a generic entity type that we don't have mappings for, it should come back as a generic entity type. Storage. So let's go run this and see what happens. We run it. All right, so we have a failure at bug 377, line 27. We get an error returned. Why would it be an error? Why would that happen? Let's try. Storage property, storage storage from ETM. All right. I don't know why that's necessarily failing, but let's try get storage. Actually, instead of using node, let's fix this first. Node. Let's go with something more that we know that should work. So we know that node is working in other areas, so we should be able to get back foo bar. Let's rename this to be something more reasonable. Load entity. So cancel load entity. So this should return that type, and we could do assert type that these two methods. So foo get storage from ETM of node should return that. And then in this case, storage from source property what does this mean? It's not returned anywhere. None of these have that error. Why does this one have it? I don't know. Ah, shoot. Let's stop it. I gotta rerun the test from the beginning because we added more assert types. So what it does is it parses the file and then finds all these assert types and verifies that the type returned from the function matches what we expect. So we added more. So line 34, 35, and 36 are failing. Error. All right. I got to figure out why we're getting an error type at all. So Drupal, that means we got to go into phpstan and do some debugging. I don't know why this is happening. So open the var, source. I got to find the error type real quick. Error type, return new error type, use error type. Where is it used? Return new error type and node type resolver. Actually, what I should do instead of putting a breakpoint here, these don't have factory methods, so I can just put a breakpoint on that, and let's do debug. So I need to figure out why this is crashing. It could be my test code. I'm not sure, but I don't see any errors here aside from phpstan just saying that the namespace doesn't match. All right. So return type is equal to null on this node. The var name is foo name get storage from ETM. The return type is null. Why would the return type be null? So let's do a breakpoint here. We're just going to say node name is equal to storage from ETM. So I'm doing this. I can set a condition in my breakpoint. That way it stops only here. And I can come back and step into it. But first I need to see, how does this not have... So return. I think phpstan-drupal really broke some code with some of our recent work, I'm afraid of. Or at least I hope not. You need a website, you need a system to manage. Yes, Drupal. If you need something that's more, I'd say that handles more robust content management, and then even content editing is a good time to use it. Get type. All right, so node, we know that this will be resolve type. So it's going to go step in, this is not the part we care about. Bitwise boolean, not identical. Somewhere in here, it's going to turn into the method call. I love that PHP has a thing called a spaceship operator. It's beautiful. So foo, yep. Right, let's step out because type is the key. The no, okay. Resolve type. This resolve type. Step down. Method name. Let's look at the oh shoot, the method reflection is null because the class was not analyzed. I don't know if we can use classes in test data. So we're using the same kind of test setup as phpstan itself. So let's go look at the phpstan source. That could be why is this class isn't being analyzed. So all right, tests, phpstan, types, type, data. All right, this is going to be, this is not where I thought it would be. Wait a second. There's more. Let me open up the phpstan source because that's what I've referenced more often than not. And hopefully this doesn't make my stream degrade due to indexing. That's the word. Right, so type PHP, is this in source? That's in source. Let's go to tests. Analyzer data, type. All right, so where is this used? This type, this file. How is it not found? Like, it has to be used. Okay, intersection type test. How does this work? phpstan test case, which we are extending type inference test case. Yield new. Okay, that's the data. Accepts others. Data is callable. I'm missing something here. How does it auto load this or node 2? Assert same, callable. Data is callable. Data is super of. Let's look at the structure. Test boolean, boolean, boolean. How does it know to include this? Nothing found. One second, I gotta see. Is there autoload dev? Class map? Oh, maybe that's why. Because it sets up the class map, and if I look at this autoload dev, do I have autoload dev on here? Autoload dev, that's just the PSR4 for the test. Okay, so that would be it. So in this case, let's do a class map of the test source type data. All right, so if I do this here and I do composer dump autoloader, so that file should have been visible. Like, there should be this class map should have had this in here, but it shows that's the way to get it to work. I'm gonna close that out. All right, thanks for joining from Brazil and joining the stream. All right, so dump the file. Let's try running this test again, because now this class should be able to be auto-loaded because the composer.json is up to date. No tests were executed. What? Come on, no. Error data broker. Oh. Class autoloading exception. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay. Now I'm back at the tricky part of figuring out how to test this without having it actually being tested. So I can't do mocking right now. So let's change this. New foo. Let's see if I can make this work without actually having it be instantiated. Errors. All right. Come on, PHP stand source. Problem is that this is very unique to just us, not let's go to this file. Bug 2272577. So class A extends, it does stuff with class A, assert type. So function test. All right, so I guess we can run it inside of this assert type. So let's go. Yeah, let's go back and function test. All right, so I should be able to do it this way. Let's keep this open. Although, that's one thing I noticed when you have multiple PHP Storm windows open. If one project is indexing, it actually prevents doing stuff in the other PHP Storm instance. But I think it's because they try to do some kind of shared caching between them. I could be wrong on that though. Actually, I'm in a test file. I'm not even in a test file. So that's completely wrong. But I do know that there is some kind of like shared cache. All right, so this is not at all what I expected. We got returned mixed on line 34. Why would all these return mixed on? So what? Why in the world? This entity type manager. Yeah, let's type What is going on here? So I want to make sure this is even working. Result type. $38. Why is everything returning mixed from this? I want to see if I can find. So class, is it because I don't have the return types explicitly set? But that should not be a problem. It should just infer from the types, so something's broken. $39. Okay, then it works because it's explicit. Why? But why is this coming back as mixed? It should be A-okay. Well, I guess let's do a debug. No. So the test. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. So the test should be wrapping inside of a function, so that's way it's not executed. Oh, what do we got here? Name. So node name. Let's type with method call. So we know the method called the name. Type with method class name foo. Properties, unresolved prototype, reflection, result declaring class, properties, PHP property, type, object type. Yeah, why would this come back as mixed? So method reflection, resolve method, reflection, changed type. Why is it coming back as a changed type? Function variant. Return type mixed. Why is it mixed? Why is it mixed? Copy name. Now the other thing is that I have PHP 8.1 running, and I don't think that should be causing the issue, but it could be. There's no way. Also, phpstan is a little bit behind, but that shouldn't be an issue either. Shoot. Well, let's go back to at least here. All right. Merged. We're at least going to get that shipped today. We're going to have entity query access reported. Close that, and we can follow up any other fixes. Just going to close it. So call return type, get type. All right, we have our type. So this get method reflection. So let's first type with method. Oh, it's before here even. Ancestors properties, bugfoo9, my entity type storage, unresolved type, fetched on type, 7 class reflection. Let's just step down. So type with method, Trinary logic should return yes. Okay. Type with method, get method. Let's step down. This get unresolved method prototype. If not in scope or not in a class, can call method is no. Description. Naked class reflection. Let's look at the plain class reflection. Subclasses. Maybe this doesn't have methods. ETM. Return type mixed type. Why native return type? What? Like, why? Parameters. Parameter object type. Entity interface. Return type is void. Yeah, the construction's a void. Why is this mixed? There's the okay, built-in reflection. Why? So then we get the method. Ancestor is the object type. Ancestor is not equal to this. Method. We get the resolve method again. Step over, get transform method. And now we have the resolve method reflection. But it's returning something just seems really weird here. Method call, dynamic return type extension, resolve types, get from args, return type is mixed type. Why is it mixed? Anywhere else that we do this, it comes back okay. So let's try something. Let's try something else really quick. Let's move this class out of here and into the fixtures. Let's just do phpstan fixture source. Do new file bug 377.php. Move it out of entity. So I'll move this out into here. And entity type manager, entity storage interface, load entity. Like it's all being inferred. Let's do a dump the autoloader again. So we should have 6159. Perfect. Let's update composer.json to not have the class map. And try this again. For the life of me, I don't know why this is erroring out. And got error, type inference, additional config test. Why are we getting an error? Fixtures the foo. Let's debug it. is everything that's in. Oh, I think I know why. Error, mutating scope. Return type is null. Method call because it can't be resolved again. Hold on. Accessible, any type manager, because that's all, everything in here uses classes that have been are auto-loaded by Drupal core. This extends the base, but phpstan test case. Type inference test. By the time it runs, it's not, so public gather asset types. Yeah, so when this runs, gathers the assets types, this process file, reflection provider, resolver, set analyze file, scope factory, resolver process nodes with the callback. The callback being right here. It's not running it doesn't run any of the bootstrap code that would cause Drupal to understand where the class came from. Yeah, this resolver, set analyzed files, get additional scope factory, scope, create, parse the file. Does not run any autoload files. Which means when we go back to this, let's go back to that, delete this file, means I need to keep the class map after all. And do I want to just test this out. So this bar equals as public this bar. Because if this doesn't work, then something really is weird happening. Assert type string foo bar. Let's run it. And if this isn't working, I'm going to do a composer update to get the latest PHP stan. So 44. Yeah, why is everything coming back mixed? PHP stan does that when it can't resolve something properly a lot of the times. So let's do composer update, and hopefully this doesn't cause too many issues. Sometimes it breaks the indexing on PHP stan with vars, and hopefully that's not the case right now. All right, so PHP stan is upgrading from, okay, so it's upgrading a bit. At least it's upgrading one minor version. So let that index. Let that think. So that's one reason I've said this before, but one reason I like using PHP Storm the most is it indexes vars where VS Code does not. So you're not able to know about any of the classes provided inside of a var archive. Just gotta wait for this to index. We can run the tests in PHP Storm again and try to figure out why we're getting a mixed type and the one, let's see, type, error type, we have a breakpoint in, but what we can do too is, boom. I'm going to put a breakpoint on mixed to see why we're getting a mixed type created. To hopefully figure out, I don't understand why this is happening. If we were to go to, let's even go to phpstan.org. Try it online. So right here, if we have this, wait, can we do, is that going to run? Function assert type not found because it's in test only. Maybe please. Oh, expected type string actual is foo. Let's do. Oh, sweet. You can actually do this inside of, you can use the assert type in here. So let's do private string foo and public function construct this foo equals bar. Let's do public function get foo, return this foo, and we should be able to do assert. Wait, what is it erroring about? I think just the return type. Yeah, well, we shouldn't have to, we should be doing that, but we should be okay not doing it. So new hello world get foo. Oh, that seems like a bug. Oh man. Oh. Level 8. Level 3. Well, that's not cool. Let's just make sure. Why? Is it going to be because I don't have, oh man, I swear, is it because I don't have final in front of it? No. Okay. I think this is a bug. I'm going to click share. No, not PHP. So this is, oh man. Mixed template of callable mixed type is not reported on PHP 7.4. Okay. Template of callable arguments, diagnostics for accessing property on unknown mixed type. Support filter, cast, create a new array, false positive, support type of argument. No. Match, expression, array access. I want to do my best to make sure I think you're correct. No mixed method caller rule. Looks at the type of rule. Attribute. Oh, attribute class with. Oh, man. All right. I think, is this why? Because I'm on PHP 8 and it's by default adding return type will change. Okay. When I use the return type will change attribute, phpstan discards the return type. Oh. Returns mixed. Shoot. PHP doc first and attribute second. All right, that seems like... Okay, so... goes after PHP attributes. Okay, so it's not quite that. Well, let's see what happens if I add this. Exclude far from project. Include far. Dang it. Invalidate caches. No, I don't want to restart. Okay. That's what happens when I updated indexes and it invalidates. But luckily, there's a little trick. The Symfony has a clear index button, so I don't have to close it and restart it. So this isn't necessarily about doc block. It's not correctly inferred at var positive support templates intersection variable type. All right, I'm just going to open a new issue. I like to at least do my bug report. I like to at least try to reference it before opening an issue. Please describe your problem here. Accessing a typed property from a method without a return type is being inferred as mixed when analyzed. I reproduce using try and post unique URL here. The type should be string as set on the property. And I can see the arguments like, well, it should just match, but it doesn't. Did phpstan help you today? Helping shape up Drupal code everywhere. Why can't I submit the issue? Oh, because I don't have a title. Typed property returned from from method without return type is mixed. It seems like it could be related to we have no PHP doc. All right. Is this going to work yet? No. All right. I got to close this out. And wrong one. That's not, I didn't want to open phpstan. Open files. What if I cancel? We want phpstan-drupal. Any of the GitHub PHP Storm integrations, not really. Damn it, this is not what I wanted to open. Oh, there it goes. Now it's open phpstan-drupal. I've tried it. And so I don't use it in VS Code either. So when I use VS Code, I don't really use it either. Probably the one feature that I do use, and the reason why I set up my GitHub token is for the, not sure how many people may know about this feature, is inside of version control, GitHub, so if you have protected branches, like I'm going to update mine here. It reads your branch protection rules from GitHub. So I have that used a lot. Or I use that a lot, is to make sure that it reads the branch protection rules before I even try to push. But you know, I've used like the pull request viewer. It's just not the same. You know, here I've tried using it on the streams, just like work with it. It's neat, but it's just, I don't know. I'm not there yet. It still feels weird inside the IDE. I know when Atlassian had a really good plugin, I used it, and I think maybe in here. So recently closed tasks, like I could, if I click open a task, there's a way to like fetch issues from GitHub. I don't know. I still haven't been very keen on using it. I might try more and more, maybe at work, because that way I don't need to open GitHub as much. Actually, what I do is I'm notorious at always closing tabs. So having this available so I could open on GitHub more easily and get to my pull requests, I'll probably do that. But it's I'm not there yet. I used it more when I had Atlassian set up than GitHub. I guess just because then Jira's built in. Like right now, it's like my pull request, but I still have to go to Jira. When I had the Atlassian and it was Jira and Bitbucket all in one IDE, I definitely use it a lot more. But when I have Jira and GitHub Flow, I end up using the user interface. All right, so let's make sure got that linked right. Okay, an error. PHP stands now indexed. Now let's figure out where I was again. So ignore the fixtures. We have the type manager. Let's run the test. And I am not sure what to do about this if everything comes back as mixed. What I wonder happens, I wonder, like, it makes sense, I guess, if you're going to have type properties and then not have typed return types. Maybe that's why it's a disconnect. Although I don't think it should do that, but whatever. Let's see what this does. Like, why is it mixed? This feels like a regression. This didn't happen before. Why is it not inferring? Like, did I miss some big breaking change or something? I don't understand. Releases. Let's support named arguments, various types, fix arrays, avoid false positive, fix an array bug, optimizations, mark improve, guard, fix, union types, improve, handle, bug fixes, is subclass of, internals. Is this happening on 1.4? So allow nulls return value when resolving return types. Elapse, better compatibility promise. Dynamic return type, support, bleeding edge. Bug fixes. So search mixed. Template type, nope. Infer explicit mixed when instantiating generic class with unknown template types. Template tag bound mixed, template type mixed. Okay, that's on 1.49. Let's go to the next page. Fixed type not considered nullable. Array type, level 9. Get class returns false or mixed. Type inference of new string leads to object not mixed. Fix missing rule for native return mixed type. All right. The next step is I just got to debug this. So let's go through. So phpstan-var. I want to make sure I have my breakpoint here. Oops. Type. Mixed type. Okay, we have that. Let's debug it. So much for feature development. I went down the bug rabbit hole. Decide type from reflection. Self-class Drupal. PHP doc. PHP doc type. Null. Self-class is Drupal. Well, that's interesting. Native return type. Oh. Well, that's... Wait. What? Oh, wait. Ah, I see. Because the native return type is mixed, but the PHP doc is any type. Okay. Sure. Is this just going to be the name of the game? Self-class. There again. Tag name at template. Oh, no. Value T key. This is going to be for everything because it's impossible to know. Shoot. Let's try. Is false. Let's skip to there where it's not explicitly mixed. Truthy. Skip that. Decide type from reflection. All right, we gotta just reflection type. If reflection type is null, self-class mixed. PHP doc return type is entity storage interface. Okay, why is this? This native return type. Get native return type. PHP doc native. So entity storage interface native is mixed because it's not defined. So that, but why? I think I know why. I'm just going to stop this. Is it because the native return type mixed since... But that actually doesn't make sense, and that actually doesn't make sense how this is erroring then. Because I don't get why this would be returning a string if this foo bar, like that's, we did int string. This seems wrong. We should not be forced to have to do types here, which means we can't test the bug because the tests are failing. Wonderful. I would assume that the type is respected from the property or when it is set, not the return type from the method. But let's try this out here. Let's try another item. Let's try... All right, let's assert the type here. Let's run a test. So that's line 22. So line 22 should pass. Actually, I'm going to comment out this first file, so we're only testing the main one. Let's run it. Okay, so line 22 passes. Oh, that's funny. All right. Type string this foo. All right, I'm going to share this one as well. Using assert type inside of the method works correctly. Well, that's fun. That's just fun. All right, so we've got that as our canary. It's working. Let's just move all these into here. This feels so weird, but this entity type manager. If I run the code again, it's going to pass 27, I bet. All right, well, okay, so that's fluff. I don't need this. Storage. Actually, we could just do this. We don't need to access that later on because it's broken. So I guess we can just do it all inside of this method. Oh shoot. Second. I guess it would have been easier just to add that property back and go through all that. So we're going to move storage property Let's move this to here, and this will be this, my entity storage. We'll move these two methods above. And test this out. So this entity storage from ETM, but even if we did now I'm just getting into silly testing because I don't even know. So let's run it. All right, what failed? 31. Oh, interesting. Oh, not interesting. That, yeah. All right, so that's been 32 was fixed. Let's add back the types because in their code, they had the typed properties, entity storage interface, private string bar, string. Just rerun it. $31. All right, there we go. So there's one breakage. Well, not really a breakage. It's just the typing overrides our what we decided. So let's go ahead and copy line 31, right? 31 failed. And what we have to do is put a to do property typing overrides our internal typing to determine entity storage type. So we can't override that. If you make it generic, you make it generic. I'm going to get rid, let's rerun it. Okay, 30. Let's get rid of this testing string because that's not important. Let's rerun. So 31 also returns. This is ridiculous though. Why? There's going to be a reason too. I know that there is going to be a reason behind it, but for the life of me, I can't figure out why. Because what if this has a dynamic return type? So is that when it's return type will change? Let's look at PHP. I actually have no idea what this trait will do. PHP 8.1, add attribute where necessary. That doesn't fix it either. Which means I can't even get to tried working on a test, but hit some weird bugs where all of my methods returned mixed. So let's try this. Public function do something. Entity equals assert type foo entity. I'm at that point where I don't even know. Ditch this down here. Just play the test. So we need to figure out why this resolve from storage is just picking the first entity. If storage type is not equal to null, entity data, this gets storage, and color type is super of the storage type, which is generic, so it just picks the first one. That's bad. Then I can't get a replicable test. Oh, I did make it. Okay, great. This reproduced it right here. 33 is mixed. Whatever. We can tackle a whole different bug here, but this is the bug, and let's just don't need that. Storage. Storage types. Let's just call it storage type. I call it entity type. Log it from there. Rerun it. Okay, this reproduced the error, the bug. Okay, aggregator feed, perfect. We have confirmation. So let's go through to that resolve from storage. I'm going to throw a breakpoint right here. And we can at least get a test up. 377. Entity storage load. We should be getting this result since we lost track of our entity type. So I'm actually going to put that up here. And let's rerun the test. We should get a failure on 27. I'm going to commit the failing test first to prove that we have a failing test. All right. Let's do. Let's put back. We want that to run as well. So we're going to add this here. Yeah, I need to have that run. Add test to add test data for 377. Let's do commit and push. Commit push anyway. It's like, yeah, I know I could go in here and I could do the plus sign, but then it doesn't like generate. But let's go. We actually need a fix. Over eager for incorrect. Does not respect default PHP doc if undefined entity type. Fixes. Let's fixes number 377. Does not work correctly for undefined entity types. Undefined entity does not work for generic storage types. Let's do does not respect back for generic storage interface. If the entity storage is entity storage interface, then the first entity definition is selected. Let's click create pull request. So this is the first time that I've done this in the UI. What did I break? I broke a build. Is that from the test or something else? PHP unit. Okay, great. All right, let's go and debug this. So let's do a is smaller than or equal is equal. Is super of, we want to do, if color type is a super of the storage type, we want to do equal of. Oh, Atlassian is down. Oh, at work we have server, so I have not had to deal with Aqua or Jira Cloud in a long time. All right, I gotta solve this out efficiently, because the idea is that if it's super type, this is working too well against typed interfaces. So is super of, let's check our methods available here. Well, accepts equals, subtracted type, described to number, can access, has method, is super type of. Is instance of. What I think I need to do is say object type resolve from storage. Where is this used? We had to do this to work around some weird PHP doc issues. Resolved entity type. Yes, to resolve the entity type, if it's equal to null, resolve from storage. So let's try this. So if color type is smaller than or equal, how does this work? Smaller than undecided unison. Undecided. Okay. Greater type. That's not what I want. Well, super of, inside super of, it checks if it is the same instance. So let's just do that. Let's do if color type is super of new object type entity storage interface class return null. Yeah. Shoot. Yeah, this was up. Super of. Yeah, we still need super of because something could extend. We need an equal to. Is what we really need it to be. Let's ditch the structure because the is super of handles extension of an node storage interface. So if we come across node storage interface, that means that node storage will work. So we still need that, but the problem is there are other interfaces that this will rely on. So I feel like I need to do this as well. So if caller type, oh no. we need to do equals. Let's try that. Let's try equals. What does this do? Instance of self. If class name is not equal to, okay. Let's try that. That should make it pass. Sweet. But we have to config storage, config entity storage interface. We need to make these the generics. And this could probably be reduced to SQL content entity storage. Hold on. There is another interface I saw pop up. Content entity storage. SQL content. Oh, it's just SQL content entity storage. All right, that implements that interface. There isn't a separate SQL. Oops. So what I think we could do here, let's test this out. Let's run the test. Should return null. All right, that works. We should be able to entity data repository, the test. So we could do entity storage. So let's do private config entity storage interface, config entity storage, private content entity storage interface, content entity storage. So let's do, be interesting if that causes an error. Does it? Does it? Incompatible types. All right. That we'll save that for another day. Block. Or is it saying incompatible types with this expected type of config entity storage interface? That wasn't a phpstan inference, but let's just leave that and see. Let's do content entity storage. Oh, but we don't have full rules going. Let's just do block. We'll just this is block. Let's do config entity storage and content entity storage. Rerun them. And we'll do private node storage interface node storage, and once again do node storage, and these tests should be failing appropriately. Right, node storage, play it. Oh, well, that's Drupal class resolver foo. Uh-oh. Oh, that's okay. What we need to this is probably I need to just check this real quick because we're causing errors here. Yeah, we probably got to wrap all these in as a null. So container, just gotta do function test. If I rerun that, probably still got an error. Function test void. Let's fix this up here. Function test void. All right, that fixes that. Let me just commit that part really quick. All right, let's just fix fix data, fix test data after adding class map. Let's do commit and push. All right, so now that that's fixed and we can get a clean error report, I'm going to close that tab. Should be okay now. Let's run the test. So this should be clean now. Actually, this should fail. Line 42. I want 42 to fail because it should actually return a node as expected. That's not the right test. Type. Entity type. Yes. Bug 377. Run this. Should get an error for line 42 because this should be correctly type hinted. 42. Expected actual node. Okay, this is great. This is what we expect. What's interesting enough is this could be improved too. So this shows a, let's make a note. To do this can safely say it is config entity interface as return type, which I thought we had that in there. And let's just again, we're gonna add assert type, config entity storage interface class. Let's convert this to use class instead. This config entity storage. This content entity storage. And for just pure coverage, node storage interface class, this node storage. All right, everything here has now passed. Now let's I want to clean this up. Having 3 ifs, we don't need to have 3 ifs. We could do a storage union type equals new union type, which would contain that's one too many. Wait, why? Oh, because it needs to be an array. So we should be able to just pass in an array of the types and we'll say color type equals storage union type. What am I doing here? Array types. This types get types equals accepts. Oh, hold on. There. Let's see if this works. Good again. Gotta run. Thanks for hanging out. I'm coming up on the end of my own time as well. 39 is what line? Okay, so that broke it. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, accepts color type. Let's see if this fixes it. Oh, strict types is missing. Let's get types, accepts. Blah, 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 blah. Let's do false. See. Accepts our color type, object type equals. Expected and actuals. Okay, so that breaks it entirely. Equals. Storage union type. This has got to be each type. Ah, here we go. So this will see if anything in that union type equals the color type. Not necessarily a super of, but we have a failure. Let's debug this here. I guess I'm not going to be able to maybe be as fancy as I wanted to with the union type. And if that's the case, well, I'll just make it be 3 if statements and we can improve it later. So color type is entity storage interface. Union type, types, we have all the above. So if we step in, static, I know why. False. Oh. What? Okay. Actually, what I should do is let's do color type. That equals storage union type accepts color type. Yes, I think would do it. Let's debug. At least I hope this gets it. I would just like to have it be a little bit more simplified than having 3 if statements, if possible. T throwable. Oh, strict types. You know what? Not worth it. Always be crafty later. Can solve problems now. So let me just go back. Great. Let me run the test. Yeah, I can be crafty all I want later, once it's fixed, or a contributor can help trim that up. Great. Now the bigger thing is content entity storage type. We should be doing let's fix, let's see, commit 0. So we have here basically do not resolve entity type storage. Do not resolve entity type for generic storages. There, that's what we're doing, is just if it's a generic storage, we don't do anything. Now, I think there's a bug line and wait here that we can fix and kind of bleed the scope just a little bit. So entity query, no, we're not entity query, entity storage. Entity storage dynamic return type. So if not caller type, instance of, entity storage type, resolved entity type. Oh, if the entity type is null, we back out. As we return the type. Let's see. Let's make this a little bit more interesting. Drupal entity data repository. Oh, it needs an entity data. Let's do. If not is set, we return an. Oh. And type. Returns, I guess, the class type. That could be a bug because we're returning it without an entity type ID. So what I was thinking we could do is, if there's nothing we could do, new entity data. We have the storage, or is content entity storage interface class, and the class is content entity interface. But now we're kind of fixing Drupal core's return types when, yeah, let's not do that. That's a follow-up. That's a follow-up. So what we need to do here, via a stub file, we just need a stub file for those services or for those interfaces. Let's not add it to our code this way. For instance, what I'm talking about is if we did config entity storage interface. So Drupal core, let's make a directory called config entity, the new file called file config resource.stub, and we go this in, and we can override load config entity interface. And I think I set it up to load the stub files dynamically. So let's play the test and see if this picks it up. Source. Actually, I have no idea where it is. Wait. Hold on. That's like stubs. subfile extension. Didn't pick this up. Let's do and for config entities, it is a string. It's not an integer. Why isn't it overloading this? Again, now this is where I should just pause, but I just want to check to make sure that this is being picked up. Files. Config entity storage stub, play. Entity storage, get dynamic return type extension. Let's stop xdebug. I want to remove this breakpoint. Just real quick, entity storage dynamic return type extension. Let's do a breakpoint here because we should return the default, which should get from the stub files. So let's run. We're just going to debug one of these and leave that for a follow-up. Yeah, I'm at time right now, so I just want to test this out. So caller type. So it's null. So if it's null, caller type properties. This is the hardest part, is I have no idea where we are in terms of analyzing the code. Well, entity storage interface. All right, let's hit play. Config entity storage interface. All right. Resolved entity type is null. Selector method reflection is what's the name? Give me your name. Object type, entity interface, native return type, mixed type. Load. Okay. It's not inferring from the overridden in the stub, so let's just delete that. We'll figure out later how to override that. Which leaves us with, let's reload. Where does this leave us? It's identical. We're just adding notes here via stub. That's fine. So C, resolve from storage does not support generic. Fixes 377. Good enough. Let's merge it. And let's see. That leads us to creating a release. Did not get to this feature development, but oh well. This is going to fix 2 bugs that kind of hurt 2 active contributors and users, so that's a good thing. 15. Generate the release notes, discussion, and publish. All right. So that's fresh off the presses, and I'm always curious, like all the different packages. Cool. Thanks for hanging out. I'll be back next week with this to keep working on phpstan-drupal, and I'll be able to work on this drush command finally. And I'm hoping to carve out more time to jump on my streams randomly, so make sure you follow on Twitch so that way you know when I go live. Or subscribe to YouTube because I upload all the recordings onto YouTube. So thanks for hanging out and have a good one.